Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Digimon Adventure 2020, Episode 2. So yeah, we're here with another episode, and this is really gearing up to be something special. Like, I watched the first episode again, and everything, and since, obviously, the reaction. And it holds up even a second time. It's just that good. It's so well made, from the writing, the pacing, the soundtrack, the way the characters are portrayed, even just from not from the standpoint of nostalgia, which I admit was definitely part of my hype for it in the first reaction. Even without that, though, without the being blinded by that nostalgia, it does hold up as just a good, high quality piece of media. It's just legitimately well made. um, it does everything it needs to do for a first episode of a new series like this. Even if it is just a reboot, it still does everything it needs to do as a first episode. It introduces the main character, gets the concept like explained well, not like in completion, because obviously even with the original, like the completion of, you know what I mean, like explaining the concept in its entirety, it doesn't happen at the beginning. They find out more and more about Digimon as they journey with them. So we're gonna find out more and stuff going through these episodes. It ends on a good cliffhanger. Has good action, good voice acting, a lot of good stuff. And I also found out that apparently it is the original voice acting cast for the Digidestined. And there are people who worked on Digimon Adventure 02 who are working on this, which is pretty interesting. I don't know how far this is going to go, though. Like I don't know, like, how far they're planning on taking this, how long it's going to be. I've heard people say that they think it should be a seasonal anime, like, for example, My Hero Academia as another example of that. So it's like, okay, every year we have a new season of it. Like 25, 26 episodes each year, and just go from there. And each season have like a different focus. Like this one can obviously be the introductions and the Devimon arc. We can have one season go into the Myotismon arc and stuff like that. So on and so forth. But yeah, I'm really wondering how far it's going to go. Like, are we ever going to get to the Digimon Adventure 2 stuff? Are we going to like get into movie-related content? Because I believe there is a very split second at the very end of the opening that you can kind of see Omnimon. And Omnimon was introduced in the movie. So it's like I kind of feel like they might be going there, or just again completely redoing it to a point where it's like they're not gonna like be going over the movie per se, because it's like they're doing their own new stories and all. Which is going to kind of suck if they're not going to do Devimon and Myotismon again, but maybe they will. It's hard to say at this point. I have no idea where this is going to go. They're already doing things differently. We've already got 3 of our Digidestined already receiving their Digivices. I mean, we know Tai has his Digivice in Agumon. Izzy does not have Tentamon yet, but he does have his Digivice. And at the end of the first episode, we see Matt show up with Garurumon. So we know he has his. Now, it's implied that the others don't yet, of course. But we already have this many. And it's like, it's definitely doing things differently. And I'm wondering exactly how we're going to take that and how we're going to pace that and all of that. I'm very excited to find out, though. And I'm completely fine with it doing a new thing, doing its own thing, because it will definitely help it stand out and not just be a blind, shameless remake of the original. Honestly, that was the problem with with Fruits Basket 2019, and the reason I did eventually end up dropping it. Because with Fruits Basket 2019, although like the animation is better, although the voice acting is a little better, although it just looks better, when it starts to drag down really quickly because it's basically the same thing. I mean, up to a point, it's basically the same thing because it's only up to a point where it's only after a certain point where it really started deviating from the manga. And I actually did read the manga for Fruits Basket. Granted, it was a long time ago, but still. That actually is a manga I've read. Um, and I'm not a manga reader. That was back when I did read manga. But either way, um, yeah, it's like it was very much the same stuff, and it was just like it was boring me. It just was not interesting me. I couldn't get invested. Sailor Moon Crystal did things differently with its first season. With the Dark Kingdom arc, not only was it just expedited in the fact that they didn't have all the useless filler and stuff, there were noticeable differences in the way that characters interacted with each other. There were noticeable differences in how certain characters were portrayed, etc., etc. And even the final battle was notably different than in the original anime. Um, it stood out on its own. And as I've said in the past and stuff, yes, it did go to shit after that, but again, that's just where the story goes after that. The Dark Kingdom arc's the only arc of Sailor Moon that's worth anything. Let's be honest. Um, but yeah, it's just like that's why I actually am excited that Digimon Adventure 2020 is doing its own thing. That it's not just a shameless scene by scene remake of the original. It feels new. Yeah, it's the same characters we know. Same Digidestin, same Digimon. Yeah, we know who they are. But it's doing things in a newer way, and we don't know exactly how it's going to be paced, which Digidestin is going to discover their partner Digimon next, etc., etc. Now, one other thing I do want to quickly mention is that now I have not seen recent Digimon shows, just out of a lack of interest because honestly, the most recent stuff that I have seen, basically, the fifth series onward, well, really the fourth series onward. It was really only fourth or fifth, either way. Once it started getting into that realm, I started losing interest in Digimon. Not because I didn't like Digimon anymore, but because it was just going to crap. And because of that, I haven't seen the newer stuff, but I've heard that apparently they don't have like a digital world in some of the newer ones, like an actual world for the Digimon. It's more like what we see in the first episode of this series, the net. It's this kind of just technical web of nothingness, really. It doesn't look like its own world. In Originally in Digimon, that's what the digital world was. It was its own world. It had forests, it had deserts, it had all that kind of stuff. It was a world. And I'm hoping that they still have that in this. I'm hoping that we do still get that, because if they just stick to the entire being in the net and it having just that generic technical look, that could be an issue. But I've heard some people saying that that's probably more of the in-between. That's in-between worlds. So it's like in between the normal world that Ty and Izzy and all of them are from, and it's in between that world and the digital world. So it's like the Digimon are kind of invading one step at a time, which I would be fine with that, and that's what I'm hoping it is. But I am a little concerned, admittedly, because I want a digital world. I want this big, vast world that the Digidestined have to explore, finding all these different Digimon in. So that's what I'm really hoping for that. But we'll have to see. Because, again, I know nothing about how this is going to go. But yeah, it's just especially since it's rebooting the first generation, like I would really hope that it goes back to that kind of core concept with Digimon and doesn't try to like, oh, let's just make the first generation into the newer style with that kind of shit. It's like, please don't. But yeah, I'm excited. Hopefully this continues to be great, and it's not just one of those examples of, oh, it's a first episode being great and it kind of goes downhill from there. No, I want the rest of this to be great. Let's hope for the best. And yeah, just see where it takes us. Again, I have no idea where this is going to go, and especially after where the last episode left off, I assume this is picking up right then. A lot of the opening part to this episode was just recap. But where I stopped it, it looked like it was starting to give more info on things. So I'm going to, so I stopped it at a certain point, and we're going to continue from there. We'll see what Matt and Garurumon do. We'll see just what happens in general. Maybe they've been fighting off some of the virus Digimon too. Yeah, we'll see. In the meantime, other stuff will be coming this week. We will be getting to Harley Quinn stuff for those who have been waiting for the next reaction for that. So don't worry, there is more stuff coming. We'll probably end up finishing Cybersix this week. This is just what we're starting with. And a reminder, real quick, this Wednesday is the 2020 Quarren stream. It is a mega stream style stream that is gaming focused. If you still wish to donate and get a donation reward reaction, then please do. My PayPal email is geekbah, which is geek, Geek, BAH@rocketmail.com. You can send it right over PayPal to me there, and any and all donations get a donation reward. You get to have me react to something, whether it be a cartoon, an anime, a movie, a YouTube video, YouTube series, yada yada, as long as I haven't seen it before. And for movies, try to make it something that's easily accessible, just so I can, access it, so I can react to it properly. But yeah, any amount is fine, and every donation you make is a separate donation reward. So if you donated 2 times, like a small amount each time, then you would get 2 rewards, and so on and so forth. Any way you want to split things up, basically. So yeah, we'll see. That will be on Wednesday. Once again, it will be starting at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Hope to see you there. You do not have to stay the entire time. It's come and go as you please. I will be releasing the streaming schedule either today or tomorrow as well, so look out for that. In fact, it might already be up by the time this video comes up. Either way, we're going to get this started and get to the actual reaction that you're here for. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. Okay, and we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, in the Digimon movie, Omnimon is a mega level Digimon who is created when War Greymon and Metal Garurumon DNA digivolve. He is created specifically to fight Diaboromon. So it's weird to me, like, that they just bring this in right from the beginning. It just seems kind of weird that this would be there right away. But yeah, Omnimon is here right in episode 2, without even introducing War Greymon and Metal Garurumon yet. Which is also weird. Like, I don't know what to think of this. I mean, this proves that they're doing things differently. This proves that they're making massive changes to the lore of everything. Now, we've seen in the first episode and this episode that Digimon can kind of skip evolutionary stages, which they could do in the original Warp Digivolve. They go from one form and skip a form to get to the next. It's not the first time we've seen this kind of thing in Digimon by any means. But obviously, Digivolution is a little different in this version. But either way, again, we see that we don't even see the two Digimon that create Omnimon. And so it's kind of wild that they would choose to do it this way. Now, you can assume that, of course, Greymon and Garurumon had digivolved and then fused together, DNA digivolved, to create Omnimon within that short amount of space. I mean, that's based on what we've seen in these first 2 episodes. Otherwise, that's believable. But to introduce Omnimon this early on in the series, before you even introduce the 2 components that make up Omnimon, is still a little weird. It's just a little weird to me. It just seems like it's kind of rushing into it almost. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's... I don't know. Maybe it's just me and I'm just worrying too much about it or something. I don't know, but it just seems weird, you know? It just seems weird to bring that in without showing its parts first. Now, also to note, this isn't in any way, obviously, connected with the Diaboromon line in any way, shape, or form. In the original movie, that's where that's where it all started. Um, it was in the movie, and in order to defeat the Diaboromon line, they needed to DNA digivolve into Omnimon the first time we saw Omnimon. So it's like, yeah. Um, it was just, it was weird to me, I guess you could say. I don't know. I don't know. Um, but to be fair, the Digimon movie from 2000 is technically not originally a movie. It's actually a few different short films and stuff, like kind of combined into one movie. Um, so yeah, there is that too. um, but either way, it's a really just weird way to introduce. I'm sorry, I'm spending so much time just talking about that. Um, it's interesting to me that they actually failed in stopping the missile launch. I think that that's a big deal. And even if they defeat this virus Digimon at this point, that's not going to stop the missile. It's already launched. So it's like, what are they going to do now? That's heading towards Tokyo. And unless they can bring a Digimon out into the real world, which is possible, we've seen that plenty of times in Digimon. I mean, hell, in Digimon the movie, that's actually the first time Tai and Kari meet the Digimon is when they're much younger. Um, and they actually help Greymon fight Parrotmon in the real world. So yeah, technically, it's very possible, and obviously it's been done many times besides that. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of if they somehow got a Digimon out into the real world afterwards. Now, we also saw that it looked like both TK and Kari were getting their Digivices at that same time. So maybe one of them or both of them will be able to act on this. Maybe their Digimon will come forth into the real world and they'll be able to stop the missile. It's interesting that Kari's getting hers this soon too, because Kari was the last of the Digidestined to receive her Digimon in the original series. Of the first generation Digidestined, that is. Because all of the others had received them pretty much at the same time when everything happened, when they went to the camp and all. Kari didn't come in as a main character until later on. So yeah, they're really changing things up. Which again, I don't mind. But it's like it's just weird to me, okay? Because as someone who watched like Digimon very intently in the first few generations, it's like seeing them make these notable changes to the original Digimon Adventure. These are not just like, okay, they're changing a few things here and there. No, these are very drastic changes. Kari getting her Digivice, and presumably she's going to get her partner Digimon before many of the other Digidestined, like Joe or Sora or Mimi. On top of that, we have the introduction of Omnimon in the second freaking episode, without introducing Metal Garurumon and War Greymon yet. There are massive changes happening here. They are trying to make this stand out. And it's succeeding. um, I like how, again, as I said in the reaction, the integrity of these characters is still being held strong. These are still the same characters we know and love. Matt is still hard-headed and has a hard time relying on others and working with others. We see how Tai is still extremely courageous and willing to do everything he can to help, as well as work with anyone and everyone he can. Izzy is still the one actively doing his best to relay information and to research things and to get everything kind of moving along in the right direction and all of that. I'm sure Joe is still going to be the voice of reason. I'm sure that Kari is still going to be the very empathetic, kind, wonderful, heartful soul she has always been. Mimi's still going to be kind of vain and silly. Sora's going to be a little bit of a brat with a very dark mindset going on behind the scenes. So on and so forth. It's doing well by these characters. And I'm really excited to see how they bring in the rest of the Digidestined. But yeah, it's just like, with what's going on, bringing in like these massive changes and making such huge like decisions like this early on, it's just not something I expected. So it caught me off guard, big time. But I'm excited that it did. I'm very excited that it caught me off guard. And the thing going forward with this is, if Omnimon is being introduced this early, what are the threats we're going to be facing going forward? Because unless Matt and Ty have some kind of issue with being able to merge their Digimon into Omnimon again, bringing in Omnimon this early kind of gives them this massive advantage against any of the kind of Digimon we would think of, really, like early on for Digimon Adventure. Devimon, Myotismon, it's like they don't really stand a chance. There's really no reason to be afraid. There's no tension. Again, unless this is like something where it's like they're not going to be able to summon Omnimon again, and something happens to where it's like, whether because of that Matt being Matt, or just both of them being at each other's throats, or whatever, it's going to cause them to have trouble DNA digivolving from that point. They're not going to be able to do it as often. I don't know. This just takes away way too much tension for me, and it's like, I'm worried. I'm concerned about where this is going. I'm concerned that this is going to hurt the series by introducing Omnimon this early on. Because the only way to make that work at this point would be to either, again, make it so they can't summon Omnimon all the time, or to just have the enemies be so greater of a scale that it's insane. And the second one just seems like a very bad idea. It seems like the kind of Dragon Ball level of stupidity that they often take. So really the only good decision here would be to make it so that they can't summon Omnimon that often, or almost ever at all. I don't know, it just seems like it's just a really weird decision, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Also, if their decision to try and fix that would be to nerf Omnimon, it's like, that would be a mistake. We'll see what happens, though. I'm concerned. This was still a good episode. This is a great episode. I really enjoyed it. It continued right off of the last one in a very powerful, great way. I'm just concerned at where it's going with this, because this just seemed, like I said, it was very unexpected. It seemed weird to me that they would make these big of changes this early on. And it just concerns me as to where this is going to go. It seems like they're for the second episode to bring in even an ultimate level Digimon, much less a Mega, much less two Megas, one of which being a DNA Digivolution of two others. It's just like, what is even happening? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, we'll see where it goes and hope for the best. For now, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode of Digimon Adventure 2020. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.